Hello and welcome to Security Weekly News. I'm Aaron Leyland, not Dr. Doug White, although he is much handsomer and stuff. And it's episode 446 on January the 28th, 2025, or the 20th of January 2025 for us, your friends across the pond, reporting from London in the janitor's closet. Okay. Today we've got DeepSeek, AIDS, sex crime, Microsoft, PayPal, GitHub, Joshua Marpet, and more on this edition of Security Weekly News.
This is a Security Weekly production for security professionals by security professionals. Please visit securityweekly.com/subscribe to subscribe to all the shows on our network.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
It's the show that keeps you up to date on the latest security news twice a week. Your trusted source for accurate security information and expert analysis. It's time for the Security Weekly News.
ThreatLocker implements a least privileged approach to cybersecurity, blocking every executable unless specifically authorized by your team. This methodology mitigates ransomware, supply chain attacks, zero-day exploits, and ensures 24/7, 365.25 protection for your organization. To learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent known and unknown threats in your digital environment, safeguard your data and operations from threat actors, and align your organization with respected compliance frameworks, visit securityweekly.com/ThreatLocker. IT professionals, mark your calendars. Zero Trust World 2025 is happening in Orlando, Florida, February 19th to 21st. This event is tailored for IT leaders and cybersecurity experts who want actionable insights on zero trust strategies, practical solutions for modern threats, and meaningful connections with industry peers. Plus, take advantage of hands-on cyber hero boot camps, expert-led sessions, and the chance to earn CPE credits and your cyber hero certificate. Save $200 on your in-person registration using discount code ZTWSW25 at securityweekly.com/ZTW2025. Reserve your spot now.
Okay, welcome back. And first, an announcement from what is a great event, and we'll have quite a few of your favorite hosts in attendance. Honestly, the creme de la creme. So, Security Weekly listeners save $100 on their RSA Conference 2025 full conference pack and the pass pack, whatever. RSA Conference, it will take place April 28th to May 1st in San Francisco. I've never been, somebody invite me. And on demand, so to register, use our discount code and please visit securityweekly.com/RSAC25 and use the code 5US SEC Weekly ! We hope to see you there. Please come. I'm telling you, the creme de la creme. Okay, so welcome back to a packed show, which really nearly feels like a clickbait title. I can assure you that it's not. And them names, I don't know, some say they would go together, but maybe they don't. But I totally fell on my feet this week. So strap in. I'm definitely not as funny as Doug, but between Josh and I, we've totally got you covered. And honestly, over the couple of weeks, I'm really enjoying the recent step up in interaction with the show. We work really hard to reply to you all. And I hope you're enjoying the reels and the shorts because Sam is putting in a lot of work to them. And we are really down with the kids, right? But they're cool. I totally agree with them. Okay, first story. GitHub's desktop vulnerability risks credential leaks. So GitHub, multiple vulnerabilities in GitHub Desktop and other Git-related projects, collectively known as Clone to Leak, could allow attackers to gain unauthorized access to user credentials through maliciously crafted URLs. Surprise, surprise. These vulnerabilities include issues with how GitHub Desktop handles credential requests, allowing maliciously crafted URLs to cause credential leaks. So specific vulnerabilities, go on, you'll remember these. CVE 2025-23040, CVE 2024-50338, CVE 2024-53263, and finally, CVE 2024-53858. Honestly, understanding these vulnerabilities is crucial to perfecting development environments and ensuring safe code repositories. I'll go on about it again, but implementing patches and educating developers on security practices can honestly mitigate these risks, preventing unauthorized access to sensitive information. In other words, dive in if this is your GitHub and this is your business. We'll talk more about patching in a minute. But next, like the biggest story to happen in such a long time, DeepSeek AI model overtakes ChatGPT on App Store. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk on all podcasts and all shows and news media this week. But just rewinding back, if you've not heard of DeepSeek, I'm sure you have, but it's a new AI model from China, no less, and crazy. Well, not so crazy when you have all the details. It surpassed ChatGPT in popularity on the App Store. So DeepSeek is fully open source. This is funny. I wrote this, but it's still funny. And has been praised for its efficiency, requiring significant fewer resources to train compared to other leading AI models. So the development has raised concerns about the competitive landscape in AI development and the potential implications for US tech leadership. Honestly, like the figures, like so much money has been knocked off the markets. And will it bounce back? I guess that's kind of the $1 million question. And if you know the answer, maybe get buying some Nvidia shares or something like that. But the one thing I know is, by the looks of it, my pension is definitely under strain. Like one of the things I read yesterday, like 1 trillion knocked off the market at one point. No, and it's bouncing up and down, and it absolutely crazy. It's like the only people that are going to make money on this are people that can make fast trades and understand it. Those of us with pensions and sort of slow moving investments, currently we're going to miss out, but hopefully holding on into the future, it'll bounce back with positive growth. But honestly, the possible vulnerabilities that this opens up are only restricted by your imagination. Most people won't remember this, but back in the early ChatGPT days, when I had done a professional commentary, I was actually able to live on the show write ransomware with little restrictions. Look, I read today this app is logging what you're doing. Is it using it to all its advantages, all of China's advantages? Yes, of course it is. Just beggars belief, but please be careful. Honestly, listen to shows like this. Read Forbes actually did a really good write-up on this with some great metrics in it. Stay informed about this, all emerging AI technologies. And of course, because we do security, potential security implications, and keep pace with all the technical developments. Okay, next. PayPal fined 2 million for exposing social security numbers. Right. It's kind of your job, PayPal, to look after this, but PayPal was fined 2 million by New York State Department of Financial Services for exposing customer social security numbers due to weak security controls, cybersecurity controls. It's literally your job. No, we give you the money, you protect the money, you protect it, we hand it out. But so the breach occurred after cyber criminals used credential stuffing attacks to access federal tax forms. So they tell us PayPal has since implemented multi-factor authentication and other security measures to prevent future breaches. It's like, yeah, sort of like security by design, shift left. No, multi-factor should have to be turned off, or maybe it should just be a point of using PayPal and stuff like that. All of these money apps. But honestly, will $2 million actually mean a difference to mitigating risk decisions by PayPal? I'll leave that to your imagination, but it's definitely very small money to them. Not heard this one for a while. Next story, Juniper Networks routers targeted by JMagic malware. I wish I named these, I come up with such cool names. But so targets Juniper Networks routers, exploiting vulnerabilities in the Juno OS operating system, and uses a magic packet to activate a reverse shell, allowing attackers to gain control of the device. This campaign is primarily targeted enterprise networks, of course, because that's what Juniper does, but it really is and does pose a significant threat to critical infrastructure. And it just all the time, critical infrastructure, and we talk about critical national infrastructure, that's what we call it in the UK. You call it something similar in America, but all these IoT, I know, are more ICS and stuff like that. It it's where the vulnerabilities are, and I'm not sure it's where the money's being pumped into. But as I often say, and literally it's been a line in my last two interviews for real world jobs, an aggressive patch process is needed. And honestly, I will tell you now, back in my digital forensics incident response days, timely patching would have stopped all of the attacks. I know none of you will get caught out. Look, but that device on the edge of the cloud with a public IP that everybody's forgot about, that's what's going to pwn you. And if you're lucky, it's going to be a crypto miner. If you're not, it's going to be something more sinister. But please make sure you're aware of your whole estate and run some telemetry, run some software, get involved. Okay, right. More of the clickbait in today's title, but it's not clickbait because it's actually today's stories. So happy and can't wait for Josh. So ChatGPT outage causes user frustration. Literally, I've seen memes on this and all over LinkedIn where people are like, are people just going to go home from work today, or their boss is going to realize that they don't do any work? AI, ChatGPT, it's all about using it as an accelerator, but understanding that the output is not in proper human readable form unless you're a robot. But then using that accelerator to accelerate to something more impressive. But as I say, ChatGPT experienced a major outage affecting users globally. It was reported by thousands of users on platforms like Down Detector. And it's like, don't you just love Down Detector? OpenAI, when I was writing this morning, hadn't released an official statement on the cause, but it does highlight the dependency on AI services and the robust need for incident response plans. Weirdly, it strangely happened at a convenient time for the song and dance and band parade of DeepSeek and all of that. One can only wonder if it's connected or not. I'll let you make up your own mind for that. Okay, right. This one boils me. AIDS vaccine non-profit hacked. The International AIDS Vaccine Initiative suffered a cyber attack, compromising sensitive human resources data. Like, no, it's like out of all the data, you'd rather F-35 secrets were on the internet, and they were at one point, than this type of sensitive data. Like it's the worst of the worst. So apparently the breach occurred just before Christmas. And the organization, I'm doing air quotes here, more if you should watch the show, maybe not this show, because I'm actually in a janitor's closet, but more if you should watch the show. Maybe you'll see it on a reel. Sam, make me famous. So the organization has hired an independent cybersecurity vendor to investigate the incident. Yes, it's the right thing to do. Impacted individuals have been offered identity protection services, as they should, the bare minimum. But obviously, breach highlights the vulnerability of a non-profit organization to cyber attacks. These people, normally these organizations, they just don't have the money for comprehensive security measures like the big corporations do and the regular security office audits that help all of this. Look, if not even the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative is out of play for these people, It's like they're always looking for high profile, under resourced organizations. We should do pro bono charity work to help these people, and this is something that's really close to my heart. And if you have time, you are a professional, you should reach out to these organizations and give them some help. You really should. They deserve it. Okay. Um, it's as if it could not get worse or better that it was discovered, but Telegram's sex crime ring busted. So, a major sex crime ring on Telegram was dismantled after exploiting over 230 victims, including minors. Like, the ring operated through encrypted chat rooms, of course. Like, these people that are running these things are more advanced in the cryptography and the secrecy behind this than we are. It's really shocking. So they used, of course, deep fake technology to create fake pornographic content. Thank you. The ringleader and several members have been arrested. Hopefully, that story will blow up and everybody will be connected and they'll get more of these people behind bars. I am always happy to report something like this, and just something that's close to my heart. I know all of you law enforcement people, you are doing the Lord's work. I had a friend who carried out the digital forensics on this type of horrific stuff. And I know for many years they have really suffered. I'm just saying, like, from the experience, if you're one of them hero, strong digital forensic types, firstly, I doff my cap to you. Secondly, please get help before you think you need it. It can come up and bite you before you know it. And you're our heroes, and we want you to be healthy, please. Okay. One of my favorite people in the whole world for the professional commentary. Please welcome Josh Marpet, super dad and all round dynamo. Josh.
Super dad, I wish. I try to be the best dad and
You're
father
a
and husband
great
I can
dad.
be. That's my job. So I do the best I can. But thank you. You are, as always, lovely. All right. So I've got interesting articles, and I know I'm only supposed to do one, but I threw two in there because I think they're linked very tightly. And I want your feedback on this, Aaron, especially considering the kind of businesses you typically work in, financial services and so on and so forth. This is going to change the financial world. So the articles that I brought in were one about a blockchain cryptocurrency company exchange, Femex. Femex, I don't know how to pronounce it. Forgive me. I've just seen it written. That had a security incident, had $85 million drained out of wallets, and did the right thing. They immediately declared an incident. They were incredibly transparent. They fixed everything they could. They released a transparency report, showed their reserves. They have a restitution plan coming out. Like, they are doing good things. In terms of incident response, they really showed us that you can do proper things as a cryptocurrency exchange. And kudos to them for doing that. Now, I'm sure there's people, oh, they screwed up this or that. I don't know. I don't know all of the details. But what I do know is that, counter to many other cryptocurrency exchanges that have been out there, they had an incident response plan in place, and it looks like they followed it pretty closely. Kudos. Okay. So this is showing that there can be cryptocurrency handled properly. And I want to be clear on that. There can be cryptocurrency institutions that handle things properly. And that's awesome. I have no problem with that. Okay. I'm friends with the CISO over at Kraken. I know people in the crypto world, and some of them are really good, really smart, really lovely people. This next story, which is related to the cryptocurrency world as well, is fascinating, because what you'll notice is, in my previous story, I talked about how cryptocurrency institutions. Now, one of the bases, of course, of cryptocurrency was decentralization, anonymization. Nobody knows who anybody has, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but you know what? It doesn't really work unless you have institutions in place to actually push through their incident response plan, unless you have institutions in place to centralize control. So, oh, I screwed something up. Can somebody help me? Sure, let's help you. And they're not the scammers. Because let me tell you something, you go onto a subreddit for cryptocurrency, you go onto a forum for cryptocurrency, go, oh, I sent it to the wrong address. 30 seconds later, you're going to have scammers coming out of the woodwork going, I can help you. Just give me your keys. Okay. But now we've got an executive order, okay, from President Trump, who has rescinded some of the previous executive orders on cryptocurrency and has set out 5 high-level policy objectives. And the article I put in there was from National Law Review because I thought they really crystallized this beautifully. So I'm going to read you the 5 high-level policy objectives, and I'm just going to go over them really, really quickly. So number 1, the lawful use of blockchain is now protected by this executive order. We are now going to do this as an objective going forward. Mining, validation, self-custody of digital assets without unlawful censorship. That's a political piece. I'm going to ignore that for now. Promoting dollar-backed stable coins. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so if they're dollar-backed stable coins, we want to promote them. We want them to have more access to our economy. Ensuring fair and open access to banking services. All right, and the reason here is the problem here is that banking has traditionally been very hostile or ghosting both cannabis and cryptocurrency because there's extreme possibility for loss because there are illegalities in the forms of cannabis as well as technical weirdnesses in terms of blockchain. All right. Number 4, promoting regulatory clarity for digital assets based on well-defined jurisdictional regulatory boundaries. I'm not certain I even know what that means. We'll have to talk about that later. And prohibiting, I want to be clear, prohibiting central bank digital currencies. So what is that saying? What he's saying is he doesn't want the Federal Reserve to handle any digital currency, a centralized currency for the US. He doesn't want to help or in any way push forward, say, the central bank of the UK or any other country to do anything about this, because there was a scheme at one time, not a scheme, but a plan at one time for every country to have a central, a CBDC, a central bank digital currency that they could then link and use to transfer funds very easily. If you think of it as using it as a marker system, I give you one CBDC from the Federal Reserve Bank of the US. That means $1 billion or euro or whatever. Hey, now we go, and it's able to transfer money back and forth between central banks without actually having to send gold or whatever. Okay, so it's fascinating that this executive order seems to me to be promulgating the idea of decentralization. Cool, okay, fine. But as we've just seen, centralization in cryptocurrency is incredibly useful to people. So, except scammers. Scammers don't like centralization, just to be clear. So, why would this executive order do it this way? Well, more importantly, what will it change for us as cybersecurity professionals? Is this going to make it easier to transfer money back and forth between fiat dollars or euro or whatever and cryptocurrency of some sort? Probably, I would say it would, because it's going to force banks to be open to the idea of having cryptocurrency in their reserves. Okay, that's cool. They're also talking about a strategic stockpile of digital currency, which I think is ridiculous, but that's beside the point. Uh, is that going to mean that scammers, ransomware people, and ransomware gangs and such are going to have even easier task of using cryptocurrency to steal from businesses? I think so. Right now, firms like Chainalysis can say that's a bad wallet. Ransomware goes right into that wallet. Ransomware backed funds or ransomware gained funds go right into that wallet. That's an evil wallet. Don't touch. Okay. And anything that comes out of it is evil. And we can follow that and go places and see who are the people in the ransomware economy. Very cool. But if I make it so there's a dozen, 100, 1,000 places to come out of that economy and into the dollar economy, anonymous dollars or something like that, does it make it harder? And Aaron, I'd honestly value your viewpoint on this. What do you think?
I guess immediately when I think about it, no, you're thinking about whether regulation is good or regulation is bad. Maybe 5, 6 years ago, before I moved into finance, and now I'm not allowed to actually hold any of them sorts of coins anymore. I used to hold some altcoins, and honestly, I used to get upset when people called them shit coins. And I was like, no, I'm going to become like quite well off because of these. But it's like Trump and his wife releasing their own coins before this, and the hype amongst people that I know that hadn't been involved in coins before, they got involved because of the president, is shocking. And I actually had people message me and go, I've been told by my sister's brother's auntie that I need to get on this coin, and they're $50 each at the moment, and I need to buy lots of them. And I was like, well, you need to really look at this sensibly, because some of these coins, for basically all of them are worth nothing, but some of them are tied to projects and some of them aren't tied to projects.
Right.
And when Trump came in, everybody was expecting him to make a big announcement about that and the coins to go through the roof. And then he didn't say anything about it, and they immediately dipped. But I guess, Josh, is there manipulation going on here? No. Are people getting involved in this that have skin in the game and actually have a profit and loss on it? It's like, people should be careful. These coins are worth nothing. And when someone that's a whale that owns the majority of some of these coins pulls it out, everybody loses. There's pump and dump schemes, and
Yeah.
it's the wild, wild west. So is regulation good? Is regulation bad? Well, they're not worth anything. So people need to be protected, I think, is my baseline there. Josh, what do you think?
Well, I mean, they're worth whatever somebody will pay for them. But if somebody will pay $50 for it today and $5 for it tomorrow, you've lost a lot of money. Okay, if you try to sell tomorrow. So the problem is, and you're right, some of these are project based, and there actually are assets securitized in them. Some of them are trying to build something good. That's awesome. I have no problem with that.
What we were promised with blockchain, right? Ledgers were going to change the world and how we done things. How we buy houses, for instance.
Yeah, well, I mean, and some people I know have become billionaires, and other people I know have not. And a lot of people I know have lost their shirt on coins. So, but irrespective of the volatility, and the volatility is monstrous, irrespective of the volatility, the problem is that we don't know whether regulation will increase value, decrease value, increase stability, decrease stability, and we don't know what regulation will make it easier for the scammers and cyber criminals to take your stuff. And so that's what worries me. If we force all of the banks to open up their vaults to cryptocurrency, metaphorically speaking, are we making it easier for ransomware gangs to offload their poisoned coins, their evil coins, for dollars that they can trade wherever? And now they've skipped the boundaries of tracing them. I don't know. This worries me. But what gives me heart is that Femex, for example, they did the right thing. And I respect that immensely. And I want to point that out as a good thing. I'm not trying to come down on everybody for coins. Anyway, I just wanted to say, be careful what you do. Have full knowledge. Don't get caught up in crazes, because the crazes are pump and dumps typically. And we've got to be careful of that. So if you're not already a seasoned, accredited investor, if you're not already like I've lost something in crypto, don't do it. Okay? Back to you, sir.
Thank you, Josh. I wholeheartedly agree with everything you said. Super smart man. What are we buying next? Okay, right. I'm not allowed to. And finally, LinkedIn sued for disclosing customer information. They're facing a lawsuit allegedly disclosing customer information to train AI models without permission. The lawsuit claims they introduced a privacy setting that allowed data sharing without proper user consent, violating privacy regulations, all sounding a bit Cambridge Analytics and Facebook's. So just looks like the ramifications involved are not enough to deter. Look, I'm all for training AI models, but what is on and what's off limits? I'm also all in for the singularity, and please come before 2045 because I want to stop working. Look, but not at the loss of personal rights, or maybe artists losing out to machines by AI training, possibly borrowing copyright material. It's a hard one. Okay, thank you, Josh. We'll see you next time, next week. We'll see you, all of you, on Security Weekly News on Friday, where Doug is back in the hot seat and me trying not to talk about China. Will that happen? Tune in to find out. Really? But thank you. Peace out.